Last video, I told you about Mike. And for those who missed it, Mike was a guy in his early 50s, overweight, motivated, tired of the struggle. Went to his doctor looking for help, left with a GLP-1 prescription, and within months, he developed severe gastroparesis. His stomach essentially stopped working properly. He was hospitalized, and through everything that followed, Mike sustained what his doctors now describe as permanent short-term memory deficits. He's not the same person he was before that prescription. So today, we're going deeper because part 1 was about whether you should start. Part 2 is about what happens to your body while you're on it and what you absolutely must be doing to protect yourself if you're already there. Because here's the thing, GLP-1 medications have a side effect beyond the gastroparesis, beyond the nausea, beyond the financial hit. And it's one that could haunt you for years after you stop. Most people don't find out until the damage is already done. And I'm JD, pharmacist, 30 plus years in healthcare. And I want to be clear before we go further. This is not a pile-on. This is not me telling you these medications are evil. If you watched part 1, you know my position is nuanced. There are patients for whom GLP-1 therapy is genuinely appropriate. Type 2 diabetes, severe obesity with compounding health conditions. The risk-benefit math is different for those people, but if you're a relatively healthy person in your 20s or 30s, 40s, or 50s who got on a GLP-1 because you wanted to lose 30 or 40 pounds and your doctor was willing to prescribe it, this video is for you because what I'm about to explain changes the entire picture of what these medications are doing to your body composition, and more importantly, what you can do right now to fight back against it. Here's what the commercials don't tell you. When you lose weight on a GLP-1 medication, your body doesn't just burn fat, it burns muscle too. And this is called lean mass loss, and it happens with any significant caloric restriction. But on GLP-1 medications, where the appetite suppression is powerful and the weight can come off fast, the muscle loss can be substantial. Research across multiple clinical trials shows that anywhere from 25 to 40% of the weight lost on GLP-1 therapy can come from lean muscle mass rather than fat. Let that sink in. If you lost 30 pounds on Ozempic, potentially 8 to 12 of those pounds were muscle, not fat, muscle. Now, here's why that is a serious problem, especially if you're over 40. Your body begins losing muscle mass naturally starting in your 30s. By the time you hit 50, research confirms that rate accelerates to about 1 to 2% per year. It's a process called sarcopenia, and it's one of the most significant threats to your long-term independence and health. Falls, fractures, loss of balance, metabolic slowdown, inability to do basic daily tasks. This is what unmanaged sarcopenia leads to over time. And when you add a rapid weight loss drug on top of an already declining muscle baseline without intentionally protecting that muscle, you are accelerating a problem that was already in motion. You might look smaller on the outside, but you could be functionally weaker in ways that won't show up until years down the road. And then there's what happens when people stop. Multiple studies, including research out of the NEJM Step 1 trial extension, show that the majority of people regain a significant portion of their lost weight within about a year of discontinuing GLP-1 therapy. Most return close to baseline within 18 months. But here's the part that doesn't make the headlines. The weight that comes back doesn't come back the same way it left. When you lose muscle during the weight loss phase and then regain fat during the rebound phase, your body composition is worse than when you started. More fat, less muscle. Your metabolism is slower. Your blood sugar regulation is weaker. Your fall risk is higher, and your baseline for the next attempt is lower than where you began. This is not a scare tactic. This is documented body composition data from GLP-1 studies. The scale might read the same number it did before you started, but the body wearing that number is fundamentally different. Mike's situation was extreme. The gastroparesis, the hospitalization, the memory damage, that is not the typical experience. But this body composition problem, This is happening quietly at scale to people who took the drug, lost the weight, stopped the medication, and are now wondering why they feel weaker, softer, and more fatigued, even at the same weight. What gets me about Mike, beyond the obvious tragedy of what happened to him physically, is that he went into that decision without the full picture. His doctor saw an overweight patient in his 50s, did the math on cardiovascular risk and blood sugar, and handed him a solution. Nobody talked to him about his muscle. Nobody explained what a 25 to 40% lean mass loss over a 6-month weight loss window means for a man his age. Nobody gave him a plan to protect himself. That is the gap I'm trying to close with this channel, because informed decisions and uninformed decisions can both start with the same prescription, but they land in very different places. All right, enough of the problem. Here's what you do about it. Number one, something heavy, consistently. Resistance training is non-negotiable on GLP-1 therapy. Compound movements, squats, deadlifts, rows, presses. You need to send your body a direct signal that it has a reason to hold on to that muscle. If you're in a caloric deficit and all you're doing is cardio, your body will burn whatever's metabolically cheapest. Protect the muscle by using it. And number two, prioritize protein at every single meal. GLP-1 medications suppress appetite across the board, which means a lot of people end up dramatically under eating protein without realizing. And if you're cutting calories, aim for at least 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of your target body weight daily. That is the floor, not the ceiling, for maintaining lean mass during weight loss. If you're not hitting that number, you're losing muscle you cannot easily get back. Number three, don't confuse the scale with success. The number going down is not the goal. The composition of what's going down is the goal. If you can access DEXA scanning or even a reliable body composition scale, track your lean mass alongside your total weight. A pound of fat loss and a pound of muscle loss are not the same thing. Treating them the same is how people end up worse off than when they started. And number four, build the lifestyle you'll live after the medication. GLP-1 drugs are not designed to be permanent for most people, which means you need habits that work without pharmaceutical appetite suppression. The resistance training, the protein discipline, the sleep, the zone 2 cardio. Build those now while the medication is handling appetite, because if the only thing that changes is the number on the scale and not the behaviors underneath it, the weight will find its way back every time. And this is exactly why we built the muscle pack at NuLifeSpan. And if you're in a caloric deficit for any reason, your body has elevated demands for muscle preservation and recovery. Pharmaceutical grade creatine and protein support built specifically with people over 40 in mind, not a substitute for the work, the reinforcement underneath it. Check out NuLifeSpan.com for details. These statements haven't been evaluated, by the way, by the FDA, but every ingredient in that formulation has peer-reviewed research behind it. Here's the bottom line. GLP-1 medications can produce real, impressive weight loss results for the right patient in the right clinical situation with the right support. They can be a legitimate tool, but a tool used without a plan is just damage waiting to happen. Mike's story is on the extreme end of what can go wrong. The muscle loss and body composition problem I've described today, that's the middle. That's what's happening to people who had no major complications, lost the weight, stopped the drug, and quietly ended up in a worse metabolic position than when they started. And you deserve to know both ends of that spectrum before you decide, or before you continue without a plan. Lift heavy, eat your protein, build the habits the medication can't build for you. And if you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back and watch it. The context matters. Hit subscribe for evidence-based content every week built for people over 40 who want to stay strong and functional for the long haul. And drop a comment. Are you on a GLP-1 right now? Do you have a plan for your muscle? I read every one. And this is JD from NuLifeSpan. The harder road is still the better road. And I'll see you in the next one.